Mage of Space. One who knows space and is haunted by it. A mage of space is a tricky pairing to nail down. Mages are so talented at what they do, yet just can't seem to shake that one inkling in the back of their mind. A mage of space would be someone very creative, able to see the big picture and come up with fantastical ideas and creations on the spot, but they may have a little bit of trouble executing them. Every once in a while though, when they break through that wall blocking them, things turn out incredibly well for them. On the ability side of things, they get a bit easier, but not much. Space is something that would be fluid to them. With an understanding of how it's flowing around them, they would never need a compass or a map, as their spatial awareness would just kick in and be on point all the time. The usual fare of space powers would apply too, growing, shrinking things to some extent, and perhaps an especially potent mage of space may have figured out the secrets of portals, allowing for long distance travel instantly. Whatever the case may be, a mage of space is an extremely creative individual, capable of many unique and interesting possibilities. Just as soon as they get over their roadblocks, of course. Mage of Time. One who knows and is haunted by time. In thinking of Mage of Time, one has to ask the question, what does it mean to be haunted by time itself? That's when a hilarious example hit me. Raven Simone from the show That's a Raven would be a Mage of Time. She's able to see clear glimpses of the future, but is almost always powerless to stop it, even though she tries to act with the knowledge she gains. This cat and mouse game would be the defining part of a Mage of Time, always knowing when something will chronologically happen in the timeline, but not being exactly where they need to be to stop it. They're either running late all the time, or they're perfectly on time no matter what, and this could be a common occurrence for them. On the ability side of things, a Mage of Time would have the standard time stop, slow, and time travel that all time players would achieve, though they may not need the help of items to time travel like we've seen in the comic before. They may even have a sort of time-related sixth sense, reacting to events just before they happen to keep them safe. Whatever the case, a Mage of Time is still an immensely helpful class to have. In the event of a scratch, few would know more about it than the Mage of Time itself, and if it came down to it, they just may be your best shot at it working out. Mage of Breath. One who knows breath and is haunted by it. A Mage of Breath would be somewhat of a hypocrite. They give really good advice and are excellent problem solvers, but tend to be stuck knee-deep in a variety of their own issues. If they were to trust their own gut a bit more, things may turn out better, but that's kind of the hard part. Aside from that, they'd be always free to engage with whatever is asked of them, ensuring that tasks don't get blown away by the wind. On the ability side of things, all manner of wind-based attacks are on the table. As a mage with a deeper understanding of the aspect, there may be a few special tricks, such as acute temperature control over the winds they produce, or they may even have a way to become one with the wind, allowing it to become a second layer of defense, to feel changes in air pressure and dodge attacks a bit better that way. Whatever the case may be, a Mage of Breath is an all-around awesome person, always down for whatever's going on and always offering us some sage-level wisdom, even if they are in the middle of their own crisis. Mage of Hope. One who knows hope and is haunted by it. A Mage of Hope would be a dreamer and a bit of a naive one. A Mage of Hope would have unquestioning faith in their friends, beliefs, and ideals, upholding whatever lofty goals they have. But that's kinda where the double-edged sword comes in. A Mage of Hope can tend to get stuck on one idea, putting all their eggs in one basket regardless if it makes sense or not. And if things don't work out, it can tend to send the mage in somewhat of a downward spiral, feeling utterly defeated until the next thing comes along to sweep them up out of it. On the ability side of things, a Mage of Hope, like all Hope players, would be stronger the more conviction they have in what they're doing. As a result, when the mage is in a particularly low state of mind, they may have a harder time accessing that limitless energy, but when the dam is flowing, it's flowing fiercely, buffing everyone around them with extra damage by words of encouragement or magnifying symbols of their hope to fight alongside them. Those damn Hope players are just crazy. Whatever the case may be, a Mage of Hope can have some high highs and some low lows, but if one thing's for sure, they'll always bounce back. Mage of Light. One who knows light and is haunted by it. A Mage of Light is your typical smarty pants. They have a deep reservoir of knowledge on various subjects, and as such, they tend to take weird and wild opportunities on things that seemingly make no sense, but leave them feeling confident because they know how things work. But in classic mage fashion, that's always a double-edged sword. A mage of light can tend to take on more than they can chew because they hold themselves to such high standards, and failure can be crushing to them. Not to mention, they can tend to hyper-focus too hard on things they know and are interested in, and when it comes to that, other areas tend to slip away from them. And as a result, they tend to have a harder time having success in those fields unless some serious work and time is put into learning and mastering them. On the ability side of things, a Mage of Light would be a mix of a scholar and on-the-field tactician. Due to the depth of knowledge that they can possess, the Mage would be able to do various impressive feats, which would include possibilities such as light-based illusions and projections to confuse enemies, and maybe even creating hard light surfaces as they understand the nature of physical light well enough to manipulate it. Though this specific ability may be out of reach into the higher rungs of the god tiers for most mages. Whatever the case may be, a Mage of Light is a formidable ally to have. Every good team needs a Brainiac, and the Mage is just that. Mage of Life. One who knows life and is haunted by it. A Mage of Life is someone adventurous. They've done a lot or have aspirations to do a lot with the time they have and are excited to do it. However, in that, they can tend to be paradoxically unbending on how they want things to happen. Though in general they remain plucky and upbeat, a more grizzled Mage of Life may have trouble deviating from the tried and true methods, while a younger, more inexperienced one may have mapped out the itinerary of their life and can tend to become quite ornery when it's not stuck too closely. As life is the aspect of change, the Mage may have some reticence when it comes to the subject, but when they eventually relent, they can come to see that it's not usually as negative as they thought it would be. On the ability side of things, a Mage of Life would have access to the full manner of life-based abilities. Their naturally plucky and upbeat nature would be calming and soothing to everyone around, and when they need to pick up the energy or buckle down and help someone or themselves, they're incredibly capable on defense and offense. Not to mention, because they know how to protect so well, they know exactly where to strike enemies to inflict maximum damage, ensuring that weak points are known and obvious for all of their teammates. Whatever the case may be, a Mage of Life is a dependable person to have around, always full on fun-loving adventure and an uplifting attitude. Mage of Heart. One who knows heart and is haunted by it. A Mage of Heart is a canon class spec held by Mulin Legion, and as a result, we know a bit more about it. A Mage of Heart would be someone who is looking for a greater way to feel comfortable in their own skin, and as such, they're able to meld into any group or situation with ease, but the road to get there may be the hardest part. Because of a low sense of self, the Mage of Heart can tend to try and chameleon themselves into being more like others around them, which can lead to some hardships later if not properly managed. But even with all that, they still tend to seem like a sage when it comes to giving out advice to others in various personal situations. If only they took their own advice. On the ability side of things, a Mage of Heart would be something of a guru when it came to fighting, always able to know where to strike to cause maximum damage, and perhaps maybe even be able to summon an extension of their own soul to fight alongside them like a summon from Elden Ring. Whatever the case may be, the Mage of Heart is an interesting class spec, able to have a real impact on others and themselves. Mage of Void. One who knows Void and is haunted by it. A Mage of Void would be someone who doesn't like sharing about themselves very often. They tend not to divulge personal information unless absolutely locked in with somebody, which can be kind of a good thing when needing to keep secrets for other projects and future plans. But as you can imagine, not being all that open with potential new friends can lead to a distinct lack of people who wish to put in the effort to stick around. And as such, this can lead to the Mage of Void being in isolation more than they may want to be. It's an uphill battle, but one that can certainly be overcome. On the ability side of things, a Mage of Void has a lot of interesting application. Knowledge of the Void isn't easily gained, and as someone with an intrinsic link to it, the possibilities are vast. Being able to traverse the Void easier than most and make even great use of the fenestrated planes like Roxy was able to do, though they may not even need the physical apparatus to achieve this traversal. Not to mention, the ability to naturally decipher secrets and hidden information makes the Mage to be an excellent infiltrator and a spy of sorts. Whatever the case may be, a Mage of Void has a light inside them. All it takes is the right environment to let it shine. Mage of Blood. One who knows blood and is haunted by it. A Mage of Blood would be someone who knows everyone. Like, they're so tapped into people around them, you wonder how they even have time to meet all these people. They can fit into almost any group dynamic and configuration with relative ease, but it's a sort of jack of all trades and master of none situation. Sure, they know a lot of people, but the amount of people they have truly close bonds with is pretty small and hard to maintain, or it's kept small on purpose so it's less people they have to perform for. On the ability side of things, a Mage of Blood would be a master manipulator, able to take the physicality of blood and bend it to their will while knowing exactly what to say to sway bonds to their side, pacifying opposition with just a few words. Let them talk for long enough and they may walk out of almost any encounter with a new ally at their side and a plan hatched for mutual gain. Whatever the case may be, the Mage of Blood has a ton of potential to inspire change, the gift of gab being their strongest weapon. Mage of Doom. One who knows Doom and is haunted by it. A Mage of Doom is a canon class spec held by Solix Captor, and as such we know a bit more about it. A Mage of Doom would be the type of person who likes to make the most of their lives whenever possible. They know that life is short and spending time worrying on how your fate is gonna go is a waste, so they intend to do what they want to do now. This attitude, however, can be their downfall, as it can lead to them being very impatient and cold to what's going on around them, since in their minds, sometimes it feels like everything is already over. On the ability side of things, a Mage of Doom would have one of the most unorthodox power sets yet. They could essentially act as a living Ouija board, hearing and interpreting information from Doom timelines. Perhaps in more extreme cases, they could even allow ghosts from dream bubbles to inhabit their body to allow for some sort of ghostly power boost. Either way, receiving help from spirits would prove helpful in more personal scenarios where discretion is needed, but on a battlefield, going after the weakest link would be their specialty. Whatever the case may be, the Mage of Doom has an interesting life ahead of them, and once they realize that, then they're truly leveling up. Mage of Mind. One who knows mind and is haunted by it. A Mage of Mind would be someone who's always thinking about the big picture. They're constantly juggling multiple things and planning a route to navigate through it all as best as they can with the full stack that they're currently processing. And while usually they thrive in these situations, enjoying the challenge, that doesn't mean they don't get tired of it. Because of this, they can tend to suffer from choice paralysis, and may tunnel vision in on one choice in specific, ignoring all the other possible choices that could potentially be better. Combine that with a tendency towards impulsive decisions, and it makes her someone with sound reasoning for very silly choices at times. On the ability side of things, a Mage of Mind would be an interesting case. They would function similar to a seer in that they're able to divine branching pathways of choices that could potentially happen, but where they differ is how they gain said information. The more information a Mage of Mind has on a situation, the clearer the choices become to them, which leads them to learning everything on all sides of conflicts to better know what's coming ahead, for them and their party. But once a choice has been made, the Mage will have all the info needed to be 3 steps ahead of any possible outcomes. Whatever the case may be, the Mage of Mind has an interesting path laid out for them, and as long as they keep a cool head, nothing is really out of reach. Mage of Rage. One who knows rage and is haunted by it. Oh hey, it's me. A Mage of Rage is cool as heck and makes some great videos. Must be a chill dude. You should totally like and follow. Video over. What, that's not good enough for you? Fine. A Mage of Rage would be someone calculated and observant, taking in information about those around them and always subtly preparing for the worst things to happen. Being haunted by rage can mean a lot of things, since rage is so broad, and the negative emotion that it encompasses can range wildly from 2 different mages. So much so that they may be completely different personality-wise depending on the variety of bad emotions attributed to them. This informs much about the personality of the mage. For example, perhaps one mage has anger issues, causing making deeper relationships harder to manage, while another mage may have a chronically gloomy disposition, always looking on the bad side of things. While some mages may be stubborn to a fault, fiercely passionate about specific topics and unable to let them go until accomplished or utterly defeated. This fluctuation in the class spec can make it much harder to assess than most others, but let's not forget, I'm kinda the best. On the ability side of things is where a Mage of Rage has a lot of room for experimentation. Fear-induced illusions and instigating arguments between enemies would be the mage's forte when it comes to combat. Having a knack for studying the weaknesses of potential threats would open up the Mage of Rage's mind-bending toolkit for all manner of trickery, and with equal measure, the support side of a Mage of Rage isn't lost either. Being able to encourage and power up allies by way of knowing exactly what to say at the right time to get them pumped up, reinforcing their resolve, and motivating them to power through situations big and small. Whatever the case may be, a Mage of Rage's powers prove to be a very flexible class spec pairing, where it's really up to the wielder how they choose to focus their energies, Sometimes a little passion is all that's needed to move mountains after all.